Well, unless you're the Patriots, it's not like the NBA where you're scoring 90-something points in a game. It's a couple of touchdowns each game, and 16-game season. It was 17. You've got to be able to let the players have some fun. I understand why they cut it from the beginning. There were the team-wide celebrations.
But those are the best, like pulling the pin out of the grenade, throwing the football up, and everyone falling back. That's one of the most underrated celebrations in any sport.
Or the bowling, the bowling, have the guys set up as pins. I love those, but I understand why the NFL might want to cut those down.
Like I understand, using the ball as the machine gun and just mowing people down. Maybe that's not the best celebration. Or Brandon Marshall, I believe, got in trouble for this a lot, doing the thumb slice across the neck.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not allowed anymore, and for good reason, if you ask me. It is. I don't know if that meets technically the definition of lewd, but I would certainly classify that as like an aggressive.
Right, it's something that you don't necessarily want to be promoting, but it is an aggressive sport. So, I think they can give them some leniency, let them do a couple of fun things, and they don't have to, nail it to the wall every time they do anything a little bit
Absolutely.
risky.
You're completely right. Antonio Brown got flagged way too many times just for dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Just for dancing.
Yep.
Tony, what are your thoughts on what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed?
I think the obvious shouldn't be allowed. We're not looking. Obviously, no one wants to incite violence. They are trying to be role models to a certain extent. Same thing with something that may be lewd or sexual. You don't want to give that impression, but it is an accomplishment. It's something that they should be able to celebrate, whether it be as a team. I don't mind. I also was never really upset when somebody pulled out a Sharpie, signs a ball, and hands it to somebody in the crowd. Okay, that's a souvenir now that the fans gotten. Or when Ocho Cinco, I believe it was, runs over and grabs the pom-poms and starts doing a dance with the cheerleaders.
It was T.O., wasn't it?
It had to have been one of the two. The other one would have been the one that got the popcorn.
T.O. is the popcorn.
Yeah, but none of that bothers me. I mean, it is entertainment after all. That's why we're watching this sport. So why not let the people who are literally putting their health on the line and quite frankly their safety on the line to give us entertainment? Why aren't we letting them have fun? So as long as it's not going to do anything that is lewd, crude, or suggestive in a harmful way, I have a tea party for all I care.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. As long as the criteria I'm looking at, let them dance, let them jump, let them run, celebrate with teammates.
Let them leave their friends behind.
Yeah, they can dance if they want to. But I think where we should draw the line is two criteria. One, anything lewd/aggressive, as we were talking about, like the pelvic thrusts, leave that home. That is, the mooning that Warren Moon did. Leave that at home. I'm sorry, not Warren Moon. Why did I say Warren Moon? That was Randy Moss. What's going on in my head? It was Randy Moss, not Warren Moon. I apologize for tarnishing Warren Moon's name. But
that sounded like much more of a Jackie Moon thing than maybe not Warren Moon.
Yeah, you're completely right. But the other thing, I think, there should be a time limit on it. So, let them have fun. Just give them 15 seconds. Anything more than 15 seconds, if it goes beyond that 15 seconds, throw a 5-yard delay of game penalty.
Right.
I think...
Yeah, there's got to be a limit to it. I mean, we're not sitting here and waiting for you to celebrate for a 9-minute long dance.
Did you see that episode of Family Guy when Peter scored the touchdown for the Patriots?
Oh, yeah, and he goes on the whole...
Shapoopy.
Yeah. We don't have time for this. There's got to be a certain extent to it. I mean, obviously, I don't know where you would place this. This would have to be figured out and processed, but
more leniency than there is now.
Oh, absolutely. In the celebration itself, I agree. But if you can do it quickly and without offending anybody, I don't see why not let them have fun. And
I think you should leave the props out of it too. I'm a huge Cowboys fan, but Ezekiel Elliott really should have been fined for jumping in the Salvation Army kettle. So that was a bit excessive.
I don't know. I give him points for creativity. Use what's around you.
Yeah, and I mean it got money for the Salvation Army, so So, I mean, there was a positive coming out of that.
I think that's probably why he avoided a fine, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, because he had vowed to donate the money that he would have been fined to the Salvation Army. But that leap, it was just an incredible leap into the kettle. Which brings us to our next topic, a leap that is no longer going to be allowed in the NFL. As of this season, on field goals and extra points, you are no longer allowed to leap over the line to try and block the field goal. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
I feel that's tough because the center's got the long snapper, I guess I should say, not the center, has a very tough job of making sure that it gets on point because there's going to be a lot of flack if he screws that up in any way, and he should be able to get that off without having to worry about it. But in the same sense, the defense should be able to do whatever's in their power to be able to get to the ball. I personally like the way that it sits now, as long as you don't hit somebody or use another person to propel off of. I don't see an issue with it because the timing required to pull that off and not be offsides, that's really athletic in itself.
It is. Cam Chancellor is, without a doubt, one of the most athletic, most talented players in the NFL, and that is his forte, is jumping over players. But, Dan, I want to get your take on it before I give my opinion.
I say if you eliminate allowing them to leap without using anyone as it currently is, what's really the point of the extra point? Why have it because it almost never misses. Even after they've, changed the rules.
Well, this year they missed a lot. There were a
few
lot
more
of
times,
misses.
but it wasn't enough that I think it really changed very many games significantly. And why have the players even set up for what's basically a chip shot that they're not going to be able to block? Because when does a block happen that's not the result of a leap anymore? It's extremely rare.
I don't know. Ask Ohio State.
I want to talk about it.
I'm going to go the complete opposite of you guys. I think that this is something that I really don't care that much about, seeing someone try and jump over the line or not. So if this is going to be more safe than what there already is, if they're going for safety, go for it. Because as you were saying, Tony, the long snapper, not only are they under pressure to get the ball to the person who sets it down, their heads are down. They're not even looking up. So it's a lot safer for them to not have to, when they do lift their head up, see a foot in their face.
Well, I mean, eliminate that by just not allowing them to jump within a single player of the long snapper.
But then what you were saying is completely ineffective, because then you'd have to jump over, land in control, and then take a quick cut over to the right or to the left, and then it's inconsequential anyways.
Still quicker than running from the outside, and no one breaks through the middle, really.
Because you can't. That's against the rules. You can't go over center to get through. It's one of those things where I don't think it's going to make a big difference in terms of gameplay, because there's only 2 players who currently do it anyways, and they've hardly ever blocked it.
Let's just go to where we're eventually going to go and just eliminate the extra point and just only do the two-point conversion.
I think that's...
You want a more exciting game? That's how you get a more exciting game.
You're right. That's what I would rather see, 2-point conversions on every touchdown. But I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon, if at all.
I don't know if the NFL is ready for that. Although, if they find statistics to say that it's going to improve quality of the game and the entertainment, I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't a conversation the NFL's already had.
And here's how you will keep strategy in the game. They can choose to go for it or not. And if they choose to go for it and fail, -1 point.
Take off a point?
Yeah, how crazy would that be? That would make it risky.
Questionable.
Yeah.
I don't think Pete Carroll's going to go for it.
No, I don't think so.
Or if he does, he's going to pass it and
Yeah.
it's just going to get intercepted.
Yeah, that's not something that he's going to run with. But let's shift now to the people who actually are in charge of the game, the referees. Some people are saying that having full-time professional referees would make the game better. What do you think about that, Dan?
Does anyone think that it wouldn't? To have
I do.
You think it would be better to not have full-time referees?
Well, I don't think it'll be better either way. I think either way it's going to be the same thing.
I mean, I think it's really an excuse the NFL is trying to use to just not pay these guys. And I would rather have referees that are full-time, fully devoted to the NFL, and are not, doing college games where it's different rules, different calls on the side to try and make their paychecks.
I mean, they're not struggling for money. They make a lot of money.
Most full-time refs have permanent jobs. They're not making a ton more money than you think. A lot of them are teachers or professors, and they're doing something else during this time. They're just doing this on a Sunday. Now, if you want to get the consistency of the game up, I believe you 100% go with a full-time referee. You have training, you have a whole process of making sure that everybody knows the calls and is breaking down even film on their performances. Now, I don't know that you do this right away. I think you start implementing this slowly because you're not going to give the current referees who have been in for how many years an ultimatum, because there's a lot of good referees that are in the game that are part-time. But right. I think you start to transition over for that.
Really quickly, I did look it up. According to Time, the average NFL referee salary in 2013 was $173,000. So
I wonder how they're getting that number. That's insane.
So they're making a lot of money.
It does seem pretty good, but again, they do have other focuses. And you saw a drop in quality when we had the replacement refs and the absolute outcry after that Packers versus, I think, Seahawks.
They made the right call, though. They made the right call.
Which one of them?
The one with Golden Tate.
I'm saying which one of the refs, because one had his hands up, the other was saying incomplete. So one of them was wrong.
The one that said touchdown was right.
Oh, okay, because
here's why.
Half of that was wrong.
Here's why the one that said touchdown is right. Yes, what was it? Who was the corner? I don't remember the corner for the Packers.
Shields, maybe?
I don't think it was Sam Shields. Regardless of who it was. Caught the ball in the air. As he was coming down, Golden Tate grabs the ball before he lands on the ground. That's not a touchdown or an interception until he's got feet on the ground. Now, the rule is whoever possesses the ball has the interception or the touchdown. By definition, if they both possess the ball, tie goes to receiver. That's a touchdown.
That's true.
That is a touchdown.
However, it wasn't just that game. It was multiple games where you saw an overall drop in quality in the refs. I imagine that if you have a drop in quality from replacement refs to regular refs, I think you would have an increase in quality from regular refs to full-time refs. It's more devotion to the job.
Furthermore, if they're making what Time is claiming of $100,000 plus, how can they not be full-time? I mean, $100,000 is a pretty good salary for someone who has to work on Sundays.
Well, I mean,
for 17 weeks.
Legislators are only part-time employees, and they're making between $70,000 and a couple $100,000.
Yeah, that's a good point. But this is a sports show.
Yeah, and sports is a much more lucrative business than
I agree.
Politics.
I'm just saying, in this form of business, if the NFL is paying this amount of money to the referees, then I think that the referees should be more consistent and accurate.
That's the thing. I don't think having full-time refs is going to change much, because there are full-time refs in other sports, and they still make mistakes. I think the NFL is one of the better leagues in terms of reffing. I think that the big issue, and more times than not, I think the NFL refs do get it right. If they don't, they go to review it. I think that the issue is them knowing the rules, them being trained on how to do it properly. The reason I say that is twofold. One, Cam Newton gets hit really hard, a lot. There was a play last year where he was sliding down and going out of bounds and got hit in the head. The ref saw it and did nothing because he's bigger, he's physical, and, I mean, no offense, he's a loudmouth, so the refs don't really like him. Now, he then, when he got up, threw the ball at the player that hit him, and he got flagged for 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct. So that, I think, right there shows that the refs don't necessarily need to be full-time. They just need to be trained. The other argument, the playoff game between the Packers and the Cowboys, what is a catch? What is a catch? Did Dez catch it? Did he catch it?
And that's where my problem lies. That's where I want the full-time refs, because this is something that should be decided and across the board. I don't understand how...
Well, that's not the refs. That's the rules of the game.
I understand, but the rules of the game are very simple when it comes to whether or not Cam Newton inside the pocket getting hit on the head deserves a flag. And it's not happening. So that needs to be corrected and needs to be taught and addressed so that they're all on